Yo, thanks for watching Mill Jackson Reaction. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'm also accepting donations on Cash App. I'm trying to make my channel grow. I can't do it without your help. Thanks and enjoy this video about a man who supposedly threw his child to an alligator after killing his child's mother on his 21st birthday. Crazy, right? Let's get into this.
Your daughter was making a life for herself, and so what she was doing, how she was making her way and making her way and making a life for she and her son. What was she doing for
Well, she had just moved. She was working at CVS. She had just moved out here. This was her first month that she lived here. And very happy to have a better place than what she had before. And for a 20-year-old, she was doing well. She wanted more out of life. And, we're without words.
Now, are you guys originally from the St. Petersburg area, or where was she born?
She's from St. Pete.
Yes, originally from St. Pete.
Now, see, this woman was trying to make something of her life and possibly get away from the boyfriend, get away from him. Obviously, he had negative influences. So now we're just moving backwards in the story a little bit just to see things in hindsight.
What have you guys been doing last night and today? I know the answer is you're obviously looking for Talon, but how are you doing that? Who are you contacting? What steps have you guys been taking to try and uncover anything?
We're just making sure that everybody is aware of the Amber Alerts, that it's showing up, passing it on Facebook, and in any other social media outlet, make sure that everybody sees it. And so it's very difficult because we're in a really grieving pattern right now, because we don't know where Talon is and we've lost passion. So we're depending on the St. Pete Police Department and all of you media to help us to find Talon.
I'm sure you're all prayed up right now.
Oh yes, we are. We have prayed and prayed, and we've asked everybody else to pray.
I'm so sorry for your loss, and we're really hoping for a safe return.
Thank you.
If anyone
I blame the father. The father, he's a terrible individual. And he'll probably get the death penalty. He'll probably get the death penalty.
out there is watching this and knows where Talon is, just what message do you give to that person?
Please bring Talon home.
Say something. He needs his family.
Home safely. He needs his family.
Because he's
he
missing
needs
his mother.
family. He's missing his mother.
So he needs to be around people who love and care about him.
He's missing his grandmother. His great.
Yeah. So a lot of people, it's difficult because we don't know where he is. And we want to know where he is, and we're glad that they're doing it so that we can have a possibility of getting him and getting him back. So
Look at the clown.
Give us a bit of an update here too. Do you have any idea what might have happened here at all?
we don't
Okay, we're gonna do everything in our power.
know. Thank you.
Please
I
help us.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, as you saw from her, it's very emotional. I'm going to give you the timeline again about what happened yesterday, and then open it for any questions if you wish. And again, our two most important things right now is number one, to find Talon and bring him home, and number two, to find out who killed Miss Jeffries. That's our main goal right now. This is all hands on deck. Every detective is working this case. I just briefed the mayor prior to coming here. I want to thank our partners that are out there. Number one, the St. Pete Police, the St. Pete Fire Department, the Clearwater Fire Department dive team, they're here. The Sheriff's Office, Pinellas County for bringing their aviation unit out here. Manatee for bringing out the K-9. Our partners at FDLE, Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and the FBI. So as you can see, everyone here is working on this case.
So they had the dive team out there. So they already had an idea of where little Taylor may have been left or or they at least knew the last footsteps of the father or the killer.
So again, I'm going to go over the timeline that with you yesterday and more information that's come before us. So yesterday, as I said, the last time the family was seen around 5:20 on Wednesday afternoon with the family members, as you saw grandmother right here talking to them. Around 8:30 Wednesday night, someone said they heard a noise. They heard some type of noise that was out there. Around 9 o'clock, the father arrives at his mother's home, his hands are cut, and his arms are cut.
Now, see, the police had to have talked to his mother, Mosley's mother, to find out that information. So she cooperated also, and to help bring him to justice.
From there, he goes to the hospital, and he admits himself into the hospital. The father is a person of interest, but nothing in our investigation, I want to repeat that, nothing in our investigation leads us to believe that he is a victim.
So they don't think that he's a victim at all. They don't think that something nefarious happened and he was involved to the point where he was a victim, just as the child is missing and the mother is dead.
That with great sadness, the body of Talon Mosley has been found, that 2-year-old boy who was missing for some time. His father now is being charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Let's listen.
So his father, Mosley, is being charged with the murder of his girlfriend as well as his child, his son.
Listen to the chief announce this very, very sad news in this brief press conference that was held just moments ago.
It's with great sadness I have to inform you here today that Talon's body has been found. It is my condolences going out to the family and to his loved ones. We are sorry that it had to end this way. Through investigative technique, we were able to find an area around Dell Home Park that led the investigators to that area. The detectives had been there all afternoon, and while they were there, they were spotted an alligator with an object in his mouth.
Now, he said through investigative technique. Don't let that get past you. So what they did was they followed the pings on his cell phone, on the father Mosley's cell phone. They followed his cell phone travels, and they saw that he had driven to a lake miles away, a lake park miles away, where alligators dwell.
As the detective got closer, they fired one round to the alligator. The alligator dropped the object that he had in his mouth, and we were able to retrieve Talon's body intact.
Wow. Now, they had been looking around the park for the baby previously, the police as well as volunteers.
Search for 2-year-old Talon Mosley ended in tragedy yesterday when the toddler was found dead in the jaws of an alligator.
We've learned new details tonight about the case involving Thomas Mosley, Talon's father, who is accused of killing Talon and his mother, Passion Jeffrey. 8 on your side's Trevor Sahaki is live in the newsroom tonight with the latest. Trevor?
Jack Allison, Thomas Mosley is now in jail after he was charged with both mother and son's deaths. He made his first appearance in court this morning, where he pled not guilty. And today we learned Passion had more than 100 stab wounds when she was found.
Wow, he stabbed her more than 100 times. And come to find out, it was his birthday, and it was after she had thrown him a birthday party at her place. It's crazy, like, how could you stab somebody over 100 times? What fit of rage or anger could drive you into stabbing somebody 100 times? That's crazy, especially the mother of your child.
According to the arrest affidavit of Thomas Mosley, he and his family were celebrating his 21st birthday at Passion Jeffrey's apartment on Wednesday. Later that night, after the party ended, Mosley went to his mother's house with severe cuts on his arms that police say are caused by slippage during a knife attack.
Is my condolences going out to the family and to his loved ones. We are sorry that it had to end this way.
The next day, when the victim's family came to check on Passion, they saw a trail of blood out of the apartment. Passion was inside with more than 100 stab wounds. A bloody fingerprint on a cleaning bottle was linked to Mosley.
She's very outspoken, always make you laugh.
Smiles, beautiful smile all the
always
time.
joking.
8 on your sides, Trevor Sahaki is live in the newsroom tonight with the latest. Trevor?
Wow. He killed his child and the mother of his child in a fit of rage on his 21st birthday. So sad.
Jack Allison, Thomas Mosley is now in jail after he was charged with both mother and son's deaths. He made his first appearance in court this morning, where he pled not guilty. And today we learned Passion had more than 100 stab wounds when she was found.
Now, more than 100 stab wounds. That's a lot. That's excessive. That's psychotic. That's a fit of rage.
According to the arrest affidavit of Thomas Mosley, he and his family were celebrating his 21st birthday at Passion Jeffrey's apartment on Wednesday. Later that night, after the party ended, Mosley went to his mother's house with severe cuts on his arms that police say are caused by slippage during a knife attack.
Now, when they say he had a birthday party at her house, that kind of insinuates that he doesn't live there. So it's just another thing to think about. So now he's in court, and I think this is like an arraignment.
The deputies, I think you're having two conversations. Are you talking to me?
Pinellas County Circuit Court Judge Patrice Moore struggled to communicate at times with 21-year-old Thomas Mosley, who...
Let's just take a look at him for a minute. Let's just really look at him. Murderer. But in fairness, he's innocent until proven guilty.
Called into his first hearing over the phone.
Whatever.
From St. Anthony's Hospital, where he remains in police custody while being treated for injuries. He didn't make an official plea, and Judge Moore believed he was on medication.
I have you here for 2 counts of first-degree murder, sir.
1 count each for the murder of 20-year-old Passion Jeffrey and their 2-year-old son, Talon Mosley, who were last seen at their Lincoln Shores apartment in St. Pete on the night of Wednesday, March 29th. And as Judge Moore read the individual complaints to Mosley out loud, more details emerged about how things played out that day.
It is alleged that the victim's family visited the victim's home at approximately 4:30 for the defendant's birthday party. The victim's family left around 5:15, and the only person remaining in the residence were the victim and their 2-year-old son.
According to the complaint, phone records showed Passion's phone leaving the area of her apartment around 8:42 p.m. and heading to Lake Magori, where Talon's body would later be found on Friday, before Mosley showed up at his mother's house with lacerations to his arms and checked himself into St. Anthony's.
So it was her phone that they followed. It was her phone mysteriously going to the park. They followed the pings on her phone, and that's what gave the investigators a good idea of where to start looking for the little boy. I get it now.
After Passion's family grew suspicious Thursday afternoon, they called maintenance to go inside. We learned that the
family grew suspicious because they were there at the party. Some of them were there at the party, and they knew that it was some animosity there. It was some thickness in the air. It was some heat going on. They knew something may have happened after they left.
Walked into a gruesome scene. Passion stabbed more than 100 times. And on Friday before Mosley showed up at his mother's house with lacerations to his arms and checked himself into St. Anthony's. After Passion's family grew suspicious.
Let's go back to that
And the only person remaining in the residence were the victim and their 2-year-old son.
According to the complaint, phone records showed Passion's phone leaving the area of her apartment around 8:42 p.m. and heading to Lake Magori, where Taylon's body would later be found on Friday, before Mosley showed up at his mother's house with lacerations to his arms and checked himself into St. Anthony's. After Passion's family grew suspicious Thursday afternoon, they called maintenance to go inside. We learned that they walked into a gruesome scene. Passion stabbed more than 100 times, and evidence linking Mosley to her murder.
A bloody fingerprint on a cleaning bottle, which has been initially placed under a bed in the crime scene, was identified to the defendant. A bloody shoe print with a Gucci emblem was located on the bathroom floor where the victim was found. The defendant's brother stated the defendant was wearing a pair of Gucci slides when he arrived at his mother's home.
Meanwhile,
so the brother and the mother cooperated with the police. The brother said he was the one wearing Gucci shoes, Gucci slides. It was a Gucci bloody footprint left at the crime scene. His fingerprint, a bloody fingerprint of his, was left on some cleaning agents on a cleaning bottle at the crime scene. So evidence is stacking up against this guy.
a memorial continues to grow for the mother and son outside of that apartment. They were said to have a wonderful relationship.
Wow, this is sad, man. This is such a sad story. This guy right here, I just don't know what to say. Words can't describe how big of a mistake he has made, and it's just so unfortunate that those lives were taken.
We caught up with criminal defense attorney Bryant Camerino to shed some light on what this case will look like in a courtroom.
I analyzed the affidavit. I looked at it from a defense perspective, and short of any mental health issues, insanity, incompetency, I'd be hard-pressed to find a defense.
Camerino says it will likely take about 2 years before this case goes before a jury.
Wow, it's going to take 2 years. 2 years to finally get the case in front of a jury. The legal system is backed up. Wow. It moves like a turtle, huh? A snail.
I think there's enough here to link it to Thomas Mosley.
I think there is enough evidence, circumstantial evidence, that shows that, he was there with premeditated intent. The stab wounds, the nature of the wounds, the wounds to his hands, and the fact that he was admitted to the hospital. And then, unfortunately, the death of the child, I think all shows premeditation. And
wow, so they're saying that it was premeditated. They're not saying that he came and, it was a fit of rage or a crime of passion. He had premeditated the whole thing that, wow, for his birthday, he was going to kill his child and his child's mother. Wow, that's sick.
And I think it's enough evidence there to convict.
Mosley faces 2 charges of murder in the first degree.
If I were his lawyer, I would want to try to resolve this short of a trial, short of a death penalty, maybe offer life, maybe offer 50 years as a sentence to the, to the prosecutor, and hopefully.
Now, see, the death penalty is on the table. I said that earlier, that they're probably going to give him the death penalty. And so what this lawyer is saying is that they should go ahead and negotiate just to go ahead and give him life in prison early on before it goes to trial.
He'll accept that. 50 years is a death sentence, pretty much, is a life sentence, but it's not the same as a capital punishment, and drag this out for another 20 years.